Ladies and gentlemen, it's the most professional video podcast on the internet. It is the Velleity Studios video podcast show, which will never have a better title than that.
No, I think we've really reached the zenith of titles. Yeah.
Apex. More words that mean top of something.
Yes. Pinnacles, really.
Pinnacles, yeah. Yes. We are... We are back to do a little bit of an update on what's going on with Velleity Studios and a comic book review that's coming to you from Dr. Volt's Comic Connection. But before we start all of that, I would like to introduce my colleague to the right, or give him a chance to introduce himself. No, I don't know. What do you do around here?
Yeah, introduce.
Introduce? Okay. So Andrew Malin, who is a comic historian, who is also an editor, writer, drawer.
Inker.
When you draw stuff in Spanish, you are a dibujar.
A dibujar?
Yeah, because you dibujar all over the paper with your pencil.
Oh, awesome.
See? Multilingual.
Yeah. Also do all the...
Lettering
and layout of mastheads and design.
Yep. Co-founder of the company, so man of many hats.
Yes. And all of them funny looking.
Yes.
Yes.
You can wear them on Funny Hat Friday, which brings up the morale at work. In your cube farm, it's so much easier to work when you got a funny hat on and jeans on Friday.
Now I just need to get a cube.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, anyway, to my left is the incomparable Chris Hoffman.
Is that a good word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Beyond
just
compare.
About to fight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Chris Hoffman, creator of the Salt City Strangers, co-founder of Velleity Studios, writer, artist, game designer, and all-around swell fellow.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So we have on the show. Oh, you know what? We have vamp for the camera for a second here, because I'm going to come back. I'm going over here to get a prop. Good job. Keep him busy. Yeah. Good job. Keep him interested in the show here. So before we move on to the book here, we want to update you guys on the Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter for the horror comic tarot cards is over 400% funded.
One of our most successful Kickstarters.
Yeah. And we've got 3 backers now that are backing at like a level where they get 5 of the decks. I mean,
dealer level.
This is going to be, it says dealer level, but you know, it doesn't have to be just for dealers. It could be for
collectors.
For collectors, it could be for people who want like a really unique Christmas gift. It's a discount when you get that many discs together. So our producer's making hand gestures at me here that we haven't like made over into the stocking stuffers. Perfect.
That pantomime was esoteric.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was great. We need to work those out before we start. Is next time we need some of these and whatnot. But I wanted to show. We've shown a few of these artwork before. But if you check out our YouTube channel right now, it has a sample of. It has a sample on there of how the readings are going to work. So there are going to be some colorful characters that you're going to be able to get your readings from if you like. You could just get it from me in a nice shirt or a T-shirt. I think you could just have one of those two things. I've been reading these
casual Chris.
Yeah, cards like this mentioned
business
last time.
Casual Chris. Or Count Dracula. There's a talking hamburger. Like, it's up to you. You know the Boobach.
Yeah.
Star of Ruthless.
Yes. And so I wanted to give a couple other of these. What I wanted to tell you is we talked about this, scoured hundreds of old 1940s and 50s comic books to find this artwork. Started to see some patterns and reoccurring themes. This was one of them. You can see here in this story, it was a guy who was drawing maps, which is called a cartographer. And so what he drew turned into ghosts and monsters and goblins. There were so many
on a map.
Yeah, on a map. There were so many of them that were comic book art people, and who they were. Looks like our levels are a little hot here, so I'm just going to take just a sec to make sure that we're not blowing out all of our listeners here. So they have so many of these where they were comic book artists who would draw something and then it would come to life and murder them, of course, because it was horror comics in the 1940s.
It's the only thing they could do.
Yeah. What else would they do? They don't open up a Five and Dime. They don't go to work at the Woolworths or anything like that.
Yeah, they're not building ships for the war.
Yeah. Yeah, unpatriotic monsters, right? Gosh. Anyway, and so we were. I was looking through these and just wanted to get you another look at a couple of these. The Six of Pentacles, super interesting card. So the whole Pentacles suit is all about money, material wealth. You know, specifically money. There's the Wand suit, which has more of the sort of intangible riches. You know, relationships, love, that sort of stuff. But the Six of Pentacles is kind of cool here because you can see that we have like this sea captain here with an old school, I assume, Beats headphone. That must have been like a Dr. Dre Beats headphone, obviously in the 1940s.
Dr. Dre Sr.
Yeah. Yeah. And he and this nice guy here has brought him a gold chest full of gold and
booty.
Yeah. Ooh. This is a family-rated show, man. You watch it. Of these jewels and whatnot. So the card it actually means like a benefactor. It's somebody who comes in and helps out with the problem that you're having with money.
That's a lot of thought you put in the image selection, Chris.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
This was 2 years of, if we haven't mentioned that enough, it's been 2 years of actually putting these together to say, like, what are these cards meaning here? This is obviously Sean Connery with a werewolf with a wig attacking him. And anyway, so this is something that you can get in on right now. We've still got another 2 weeks on the Kickstarter, so if you have a hankering for this, even if it's not, even if the metaphysical and like knowing your future is not your bag, you know, these are just some sweet looking cards. You know, neat looking back, a lot of fun. And
if you like skeletons,
if you like Dracula's,
the devil.
Yep. Several of those monsters and whatnot. So back to Kickstarter. That's the only way that we keep making all of these projects. You know,
if you like classic comic art, that's that's what it really is horror comic art from the Golden Age.
Yeah. Some of the best pieces right here on the box.
Attractive looking box.
Yeah. So moving on to the next piece of the show here, we have you may have seen this from earlier in the show. You may remember this comic book from earlier in the show. This is Hero Killers by the Dynamite Comics Group. Dynamite! Yeah? J.J. Walker? Anybody? No.
That's an old reference for me. Yeah, and I was born in the 80s. So,
and so, Andrew, what is Hero Killers? Or specifically, the Project Superpowers Hero Killers.
So, Dynamite, a lot of the books they produce are out-of-copyright characters under the Project Superheroes line. A lot of their initial success was with Alex Ross and Jim Krueger doing their Project Superheroes comics with the out-of-copyright characters from the Golden Age. And so what Ryan Brown and Pete Woods have done with the Hero Killers is they've taken these Golden Age comic book characters that are mostly have gone unused for the last several decades and put them in a fantastic situation. Mm-hmm. There is a town overrun with supervillains. And so they decide to put a bounty on supervillains. So the town becomes overrun with heroes, and crime disappears. And here we go. One of my favorite parts about this comic is that it's a self-contained story. You don't need to know who these Golden Age heroes are to appreciate this comic.
Right.
There's these great car-faced gangsters. And those guys are original to this. I don't remember there being car-faced robot bootleggers in old Golden Age comics.
There should have been.
But there should have been. These are fantastic. The art is fantastic.
Right. This is a character, his original name, this is Daredevil. This was the original Golden Age Daredevil. And they can't call him that in the book here. They probably could. Like, they could make an argument that the name inside the book, it is out of copyright. They just don't want to go up against Disney legal money. That seems like a really bad idea. But that's Daredevil for real. Like, he has he throws boomerangs. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And this right here is one of my favorite spreads. This is like some of my favorite art because you can see all of these heroes. Every single one of these guys and gals up here are original Golden Age characters. You've got like the Fighting American, the Super American, You've got Airman, you've got Skyman, which are two different guys.
Yeah, the Face.
The Face over here.
Catman and Kitten.
He's a great Batman style character. He wears this mask. This is like a rubber mask that he wears to scare villains.
Hey, he looks like the Green Goblin.
Yeah,
and you can tell
but he has a gun.
Yeah, the Green Goblin is very obviously reminiscent of this character that they would have been familiar with.
Right. You've got Captain Courageous, the Green Llama, 13, who had a sidekick named Jinx. So cool, these characters. And I think that's the red bee in the background here.
Oh, yeah, with the satiny sleeves.
Oh, Catman and Kitten, who are a couple of my favorite characters.
I really love those characters. Blue Bolt is in here, too.
Yep.
He's a fantastic character.
Yeah. U.S. Jones.
Chris and I actually collect Blue Bolt comics because so much of our going through these old vintage comics for Craptionated, for the Tarot, we really gained a deeper appreciation of these classic books.
Right, and we've got 2 Kickstarters that are going to be coming out that have that use more of this artwork. Oh, there's the owl. Gosh, he's such a cool looking character. Captain Battle and Captain Battle Jr., who play a very big role in this. We're going to have 2 more Kickstarters coming out that have to do with Golden Age comic art. One of them is going to be a card game called Daring Heroes, which uses a lot of the characters actually from this. You'll find the Black Terror and some that aren't in here, like the purple tigress,
Phantoma,
and Phantoma, which was actually the very first
female
superhero. So
and Murderer, because the old comics did not differentiate between murderer is bad
and justice. Yeah,
and justice,
there were superheroes who would just throw their villains off of bridges and buildings, and that was just the end of the bad guy.
Black Cobra kept throwing people off of the tops of buildings.
Yes. Yeah. And you were just supposed to cheer for it. It was like, sweet. This guy, the prince and his giant. That's a hilarious comic. There's Jinxie.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happens in this book is there's a bounty for fighting bad guys, and so why all of these superheroes show up here to fight these bad guys is because they get paid an amount of money, and they're all poor.
Yeah.
None of them have any money. They live in like crappy apartments.
Yeah, none of them are Batman or Iron Man.
Yeah. And so but what always happens here with the dwindling amount
Oh man, Black Terror's been drinking again.
Right. And his sidekick.
Oh, look at that panel.
Right.
Oh, that is.
And his sidekick Tim.
Yeah.
Tim doesn't even have like a superhero. Like Jinx, at least 13's sidekick has a superhero name. And Kitten.
Yeah.
Catman's he's just Tim. He doesn't even bother hiding his identity.
Well, he's got a mask on.
Yeah, but how many Tims? You know what I mean? Back in the day, like in these comics, you would have never noticed. Like, have you ever seen that picture of Zoe Deschanel? Zoe?
That's fine. Keep
going.
He won't help us by lingering here.
Deschanel. She's. You ever seen a picture of her without bangs?
She looks like your sister.
You would never know. You would never know who she was without her bangs. So I believe the Clark Kent, like wearing his glasses.
One of the best depictions of that disguise was the Christopher Reeve Superman, because he actually hunched over and acted clumsy. And then Frank Quietly went on and depicted Clark the same way in All-Star Superman. And it was one of the best portrayals of Superman ever put to comics.
Right on. So what happens here is that the only people who ever get paid all the bounties are the main heroes. The sidekicks never get any money. And when you start reading this, you see that Tim, he's just treated terribly. They sit in there in the lair here, the Skull House, which I'm sure that Tim is the one who had to nail all of this stuff onto the top of his house. And he's sick of being treated like a sidekick. He wants the glory. He wants the money. So he talks to a couple of the other sidekicks here, which is Sparky, who's the original Blue Beetle's companion, and Captain Battle Jr., who, he's got a superhero name, but barely.
Yeah, he's actually Junior, Captain Battle Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's not even Lieutenant Captain Battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Private Battle.
Private Battle.
Buck Private Battle. Anyway, they find a bad guy who they made up for this story. It's Captain Physics, and they defeat him. This team of 3 guys,
sidekicks,
and they beat him. They're like, "Hey, we did it!" And then the guys are like, hey, the other guys are like, hey, we need to tell our superheroes, and Tim's like, no, I don't think we need to tell them at all. But,
Yeah, they're going to steal credit.
but Black Terror shows up and finds out, hey, who the hell do you sidekicks think you are? What are you doing? And he's like, all right, well, I'll take over from here. I go ahead and got this. And then, yeah, here's the NC, the turn away from this artwork here. I'll turn it just a little bit.
Here's
so
a warning. It's kind of gory.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Tim takes matters into his own hands and appears to murder the Black Terror.
So we don't want to go through the whole book,
right? But I was going to say here, this is the premise of the first book. It's sidekicks taking over from their heroes, and it is such a twist and turn. I thought it was going to go down one path here, and then it stopped in its path, went somewhere else, and I was like, that was a brilliant turn. I don't think that you can escalate this story anymore. And then 2 more times they escalate the story, and it is amazing.
If it's got fun, bombastic artwork, it matches the tone perfectly. It's very silly, but it's also extraordinarily dark and violent. If you like the Venture Brothers, I think you'd love the Hero Killers.
Yep.
If you like Rick and Morty, I think you'd love the Hero Killers.
Yep.
There is a fun, tongue-in-cheek story to be had in this book. It is great, and I couldn't recommend it enough.
Show you where it's ending up. This is on the back panel here. That is his hand replaced with a taped-on knife, and he does have a taped-on mask that is an oven mitt.
With a hole cut in it.
With a hole cut in it. You cannot not pick up this book. I actually talked to Pete Woods about this, and told him that this comic was my favorite book ever since Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which was Steve Lieber and
Matt Fraction. No. Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer, and yeah, he said that was pretty high praise.
It's a fantastic book. It was a lot of fun,
and I mean it. It's another book. If you liked the Superior Foes, this is along those lines.
Yeah.
It's good for comic book fans. If you have a comic book fan who is, who's been reading for a long time and is familiar with all the tropes and
doesn't mind seeing those tropes subverted.
Yes, yeah. This is a book. So, $19.99 cover price. You can get this from Dr. Volts. Give him a call. Jump on the website. We can get these for you. Highly recommended. And there's floppies of this book too that you can pick up if you're a floppy collector. You don't have to do the trades. I like getting the trades. I like having the floppies, but I also like getting the trades because then I feel like I don't have to be careful reading these. You know what I mean? I feel
you can enjoy them.
Yes, and then my other ones, heaven forbid, Hero Killers the movie ever comes out, and my number one goes up to $80. You know what I mean?
Oh no, the first appearance of the Black Terror is going to go up in value.
Yeah, the first appearance. Yeah, the book that you can't get for less than like $8,000 in a 2.
Because it came out in 1940.
Yes, and there's not that many people that have them. Yeah, and yes, I grew up in the 90s. I still have that mindset ingrained in me that that I need to buy 3 of each book so that I can keep one, I can sell one, and I can sell another one.
Yeah, I actually went through my personal comic collection and found a number of duplicates and then got rid of them.
Yeah, because they're not worth anything anymore. The things that I held on to that did not hold on to their value, a lot of my 90s comics, my baseball cards, my football cards, hockey cards, that sort of stuff from the 80s. The things that I did not hang on to and that ended up being worth tons, all of my original Magic cards.
Oh, yeah, because you started playing in the early 90s.
Yes, yeah. I remember when the first box of them came in and pulling Shivan Dragons and Armageddons and Mox that and whatever. We were like, well, this game looks like it sucks, and threw it away. Yeah.
It's all right. But, you guys, if you are speculative collectors, you can speculate on our immediate success by buying our comics.
You could get Ruthless, which is over here on the side of the books here. What kind of hand gesture is that you're doing over there, producer? That's another one we didn't talk about before we got onto the air.
So we should be running a Kickstarter for Ruthless 2 coming up.
Ruthless 2 is coming up. We have another volume of Craptionated that's being written, and so if you liked either of those, yeah, we have just come up with a treatment for another run, another at least book on the Salt City Strangers.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, sky's the limit with any of this stuff. But once again, we need to. We live and die by our Kickstarter campaigns. So if you are interested in these things, we always deliver. We've never jilted anybody. We've never reduced anything. If whatever we say we're going to produce and ship, we always have, and that's over 10 different Kickstarters now for over $60,000. So we're pretty confident in our abilities to be able to get this stuff out to you. So if that's holding you back and whatnot, fear not. We always always send our stuff. I think that's actually like a hashtag from another place. So
we always deliver.
We always deliver. Yeah, from another indie comic place. As a matter of fact, Sean Mack, who's an awesome guy.
And we're not affiliated.
We're not affiliated, but go check out his stuff too. You know what I mean? If you've backed all of our Kickstarters, go ahead and back one of his. You know what I mean? That's fine. Actually, he's got a lot of great stuff over there. So it's another. You know what? One of these times we'll see if we can get him on the show and have him talk about this. He does a live cast off of his too. So I'd love to talk to him a little bit more about that stuff. But anyway,
I think that's it.
Brevity
and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was concise. I think we were, yeah. I think these are just going to go until I don't say.
So thank you everyone for listening.
But like us on Facebook, check us out on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube. Once again, all of that stuff helps. If you can't back the Kickstarter at this point, it's just not in the cards for you. Share these out on Facebook and Twitter. All of that stuff is just as helpful as backing. So
thank you very much, and we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel, right? Because we're doing these weekly, right?
Yeah.
So look for us next week around this time.
Oh, send us trivia questions for Andrew as well.
Exactly.
We need to stump him with more questions.
Them. Yeah, you didn't ask me any questions this time.
No, we didn't get any.
Yeah.
We've done enough of this.
Okay.
Okay. They're sick of it.
Very good. We should end this hoedown.